Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday. It's February 1st. Welcome to February. And I just wanted to give a little devotional today, kind of picking up on where Scott left off on Sunday with the end of Matthew 13. Today I'm going to read out of an NCV version. So this is a little bit different, but not very much. Starting on verse 53, it says, "When Jesus finished teaching with these stories, he left there. He went to his hometown and taught the people in the synagogue, and they were amazed. They said, 'Where did this man get this wisdom and this power to do miracles? He is just the son of a carpenter. His mother is Mary, and his brothers are James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas. And all his sisters are here with us. Where then does this man get all these things?' So the people were upset with Jesus. But Jesus said to them, 'A prophet is honored everywhere except in his hometown and in his own home.' So he did not do many miracles there because they had no faith." That's the word of the Lord. A couple of interesting things, kind of like maybe minor details, but also just interesting. They say he is the son of a carpenter, but then they say his mother is Mary, his brothers are James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas. What happened to Joseph, his dad? What happened to him? Something so strange here that they just say he's the son of a carpenter. They don't give Joseph his name, and then they name Mary and the brothers, and then not the sisters. Not naming the sisters is not very strange because in that culture, in that world, women were typically left unnamed very often. I think Mary's named here because they wanted to put a name to his mother just to give some kind of hereditary line because that's important. But why isn't Joseph named here? He's the son of a carpenter. They don't even want to say his name. I wonder if because of the choices that Joseph made to marry Mary and to have this baby Jesus, that he might have been incredibly ostracized from the community, so much so that they don't even want to give him a name because names are important. It's interesting. And so then the other interesting thing I want to point out is that when he finished the teachings, they were amazed. But then as they're starting to talk about this, they become upset. So they start off amazed. He's teaching all these things. He has all this wisdom. He seems to have this like uncanny just ability to translate Old Testament teachings into something for their present day. He's doing an amazing job teaching people how to be in first century Israel and surrounding. They're amazed. And yet by the time they're done talking down, right, kind of dressing him down, son of a carpenter, that's not good. Here's his family. Maybe that was a discredit to him. They don't mention Joseph's name. That's a discredit. They discredit him, and so then they're upset by the end. Started out amazed, they end up upset. They don't say who's talking here, but I would just imagine that these are the people of his hometown. So they know him. They know who he is. This isn't a stranger. And yet they're doing this public dress down on him. Here's another thing, and I think Scott picked up on this. Jesus is the son of a carpenter. He's not like trained in the rabbinic way. He's not a Pharisee. He's not a scribe. He's not a Sadducee. He's not part of the academic elite. He's the son of a carpenter, but more than that, he was a carpenter. And so not exactly a job that came with a lot of favor in that day. He's a blue-collar laborer, not a white-collar academic elite. And yet his teachings are amazing. I think a lot of times we really dress down the sources of our information, right? Like if someone tells me something, I I might not believe it depending on what their background is, and today we call it everybody's like kind of an internet expert, right? Like I wouldn't call my doctor if I had some kind of pain in my side. I'll just go on WebMD instead. And I feel like that hasn't changed in like 1,000 years or 2,000 years. Like it hasn't changed, that people are very skeptical. So here's this man who shows up. He's doing all sorts of miracles. The story of his power is traveling around. So they know about his power. They know about his miracles. And then his teachings are amazing. I wouldn't want you want to follow that person. Maybe some of them even felt drawn to follow. Maybe some of them did, but maybe not in his hometown. It's not sure. It's unclear. But instead of listening and hearing all this wisdom, instead of letting it soak in, they shut themselves off with this talk of who they think he is. I'm going to leave you with this idea. Scott mentioned this, that the Gospels, at their core, are trying to help us understand who Jesus is. And just like 2,000 years ago, we can either buy into it or we could disregard it. Like we could be like, no, I don't believe any of that. And that's like the question at hand. And in Jesus's hometown, with people who know him best, most of them, if not all of them, decide, no, I don't believe this. I'm not going to believe this. Which is interesting because this is the end of this chapter 13, where Jesus tells parable after parable after parable about how to get into the kingdom of heaven. And it's all about faith. And so here these people are totally disregarding Jesus. They don't have eyes that are seeing. They don't have ears that are hearing. And instead they dress him down and they judge him by his like earthly persona, his earthly heritage. They judge him by that, and they don't have faith. So as you go through your day, as you maybe talk to people on your walks or wherever you might find yourself, as you're doing all these things, think about people's stories and how their stories can teach us to grow in faith. Go in peace. Love you all.